Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. So we've come away with a loss 2-1 at home against Leicester. Very disappointing for me. Frustrated as well with the way we played. But before we start, I just want to say, if you're new, if you do watch us and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You'll help us grow. We're close to hitting 2K subscribers. We've got real big things coming as soon as we hit that figure. So if you can subscribe, it really appreciated. Big shout out to avfc 12th man on Facebook as well. They've been showing a lot of support to the channel. So we really appreciate everything that they're doing for us as well. So yeah, the game, really disappointed. First half, didn't turn up. I know you've got the massive news of Jack Grealish not being in the lineup, but for me, I'm thinking, okay, show us what we're all about. Let's see what some of these players can do. Let's see Barkley step it up, earn that move, show us why we should be paying the figure that he's branded around for Chelsea, 30, 40 mil. You know, let's step into Grealish's shoes and perform. And it was just disappointing the way he played, the way he went off the pitch today. The goals, I mean, the first one for me was worse than, everybody slating Elmo. I think nobody's tracked Maddison's run from the halfway line. There's not a midfield player anywhere near Maddison. And, it's just really frustrating. The first half especially, lacklustre, lethargic. The passes were awful. We went in second half, got the goal, and you're thinking, right, let's step it up, let's step the tempo up. We just fell into our shell again. We allowed Leicester to have a 15-minute spell of possession, and we came into life when Ramsey came on. And for me, the massive positive in that game was Jacob Ramsey's 15-minute cameo, the way he was passing the ball around. He looked so confident on the ball. So for me now, I want him in that lineup. I want to see what he's all about. We're not going to get relegated. Let's see what he's all about. Ryan, what did you make of it all?
Yeah, you summed that up pretty perfect, Luke. On the same as you, mate, I was expecting a bit of a step up from the lads with the news of Grealish. Leicester played midweek, and I thought, okay, let's make a fast start. We'll be up for it. But it was the complete opposite. Leicester come right at us, right at our throats. We completely lacked any tempo. There was just no energy. There's just a lack of energy in our side at the minute. I thought the setup was wrong. The two number 8s in the middle, McGinn and Barkley, didn't work. And it was absolutely shocking, the space that Leicester had in front of our back four. Yeah. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Maddison just had the whole pitch to himself. No one near him. He pings one in. Obviously, the first goal as well. So, and we were made to pay for that. Second half, yeah, we was better. We got the early goal and we pressed for the equaliser. But, yeah, like you say, Ramsey's cameo, every time he's come on, he's comfortable, isn't he? He wants that ball. He's comfortable to have the ball. You can give it him under pressure. And I think he just needs a run of games now. If he can get himself in there and 2 or 3 games, I think you'll see his confidence grow and really make a difference. Sanson as well, I thought he brought some energy as well. So we're going to need some energy in that midfield when we come up against Leeds United, because if not, they will tear us apart again.
Yeah, we've said it the last couple of weeks. The midfield for me, pre-Christmas, was very, very strong. I love the look of it. I loved how we were playing. But for some reason now, there's just no energy in there. We're just being bypassed midfield far too easy. If any of you are watching, check out the first goal and just watch Maddison's run. There's not a midfielder anywhere near him. And I'm just thinking, that's criminal. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely criminal to see. And it's part of the problem. It's just a flat, lacklustre performance, really disappointing. But like you say, again, against Leeds, we can't have a spell of in that game of 10, 15 minutes where we're not bang at it, because they're going to be in your faces around every single one of our players. So we need to step it up, and we just need some fresh legs in that midfield. And I do think as well, with Grealish out the side, it's not just we're lacking our best player. I feel like we're going to miss the best in Watkins, because I think the two together complement each other's game. They just know each. Where Watkins knows the run. Grealish, do you know what I mean? I think we're going to see an isolated Watkins in the next couple of weeks if Grealish is out for a number of games. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's the same with Matty Target as well. They've got a good link up there, haven't they? And ultimately, when Barkley was on fire before his injury, it was the link up with Grealish, wasn't it? You know, how long ago does it feel when them two were toying with Arsenal in the corner and taking the mark up? But we miss, Grealish, he sets the tempo, doesn't he? And it took us 45 minutes to come around to that today and realised, okay, we've got to step up and create our own tempo. So, yeah, we are going to miss him. Hopefully, Dean Smith's his interview after the game, he did sort of play it down as it could only be a couple of games. And hopefully it is, because the mind games that Dean Smith plays with these injuries, it's killing me, because it's one less stress that I don't need in lockdown. Just tell me the truth. Just tell me how long he's going to be out for, because yeah, that's a wound that is when they do this, when they do them sort of tricks.
He's a massive worry, because he plays them down so much, doesn't he? And you just want to know how long he's out for. I've got a vibe. I don't feel like it'll be a bad one. I just think it's just going to be, see how he's after a little bit of a rest of what even if ever the injury is. I don't even know what the injury is. But I don't want to come across really negative today, but I'm really disappointed with the way we played. I just think I was just expecting a bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I hate seeing the word that we're a one-man team, and I just wanted us so much to just put in a good performance, and we just lacked it. I mean, we got better as the game went on, I suppose, so that's another positive. But I think, when you are chasing the game, you probably are going to look the better side, aren't you, when you're just lumping balls in? So what changes would you make then for Leeds?
I think the back five, that picks itself automatically. Watkins up top, automatic. It's the middle. It just needs freshening up. I think if you're going to play one in that holding midfield role, I think the performances Nakamba's put in, I think he's got to be the man. If you're just going one at the back there and not Louise and McGinn, if you're going to play two in the middle, then Nakamba needs to come in, because, he had an easy game against Newcastle. He looked good, but then he backed that up with a good performance against Arsenal. So I think if you're looking at that setup, then you've got to go Nakamba. And I think we've got to see Ramsey. I think, this Grealish injury, in the last, 18 months we've been in the Premier League, this is probably the best time it's happened, because if it would have happened... Project Restart, we would have been in a complete meltdown. So while we're comfortable, the upper reaches of the top half, then it's a good opportunity for someone like Ramsey to come in and express himself. And he seems reluctant to put Sanson in now, doesn't he? He left it. What did he come on with? 10 minutes to go.
10 minutes.
Yeah. So he seems a bit reluctant to use him, but I think maybe Nakamba and Ramsey come in, give it a bit of energy. And I thought McGinn done all right today, even though he still looks a bit rash to me. He's, he just seems to be losing his composure a bit in times, especially with them shots, especially the one in the last minute where he lashed at it, and he could have took it down and we could have put a ball in the box. But I thought McGinn done all right. I thought he'd done all right.
I mean, he's still got Sheffield Wednesday in his head, hasn't he?
Yeah, in that whole end, yeah.
He's still watching that video on YouTube, then, by the looks of it, fresh in his mind. A little bit of a disappointing one from us today, I guess, but hopefully we'll be bang at it against Leeds. Thanks for coming on, mate.
We are on one, up the Villa. Nice one, Luke.
So we've got Seb on. What do you make of that, Seb?
Yeah, it was really... I think underwhelming would be the correct word. Obviously, we had the deflating news that Jack was out prior. It had been doing the rounds on social media, but some of us chose to believe it, some of us didn't. But then when the team sheets hit, it was disappointing, but we still had high hopes that we could get something. Hopefully, we could provide a good spirited performance without him. But that wasn't the case. It was a disastrous opening 20 minutes. I mean, don't get me wrong. That was one of the worst I've seen us play all season. We were horrific. We couldn't string 2 passes together. It looked as though we were back down in the Championship. That was the quality of play that we were producing. I mean, it was horrifically bad. It was painful to watch at times. And we gifted them 2 goals, really, and found ourselves 2-0 down. And before you know it, we'd made a mountain out of a molehill. So, then the first half progressed and nothing really came of it. And at half time, we went in thinking, Christ, this could be, 4, 5 or 6 if Leicester decide to ramp it up in the second half. And then we came out and scored almost immediately. And suddenly it's like, right, come on then. Let's kick on. Let's push on. Let's see what we can make of this game now. And the disappointing thing is, normally when you're 2-0 down and your team scores a goal, you have every faith that they're going to push on now and go and, take the opposition to the jugular, go and look for that equaliser. But I never really got that feeling. It felt as though we sort of scored our goal, went brilliant, we've done our job, and we settled back into the rhythm of play that we had the first half. We let Leicester dictate the tempo. It's almost like we were the away team at times. Leicester were knocking it about. And I don't think it was until the 80th minute, really, which is where we caused them problems. I think Smith's first substitution, annoyed me, bringing El Ghazi off. I think Traore was good today. I mean, he stepped up in Jack's absence. He was one of the only players to step up today. But I would have liked to see El Ghazi and Traore stay on. He brought Trezeguet on. Personally, I'd have put Traore in the middle or El Ghazi as the number 10. And then Traore the left-hand side and Trez the right-hand side, because Trez and Elmo have worked together for Egypt before. So they have that link-up play. They know how to play together. So it was quite a surprise when I saw Trezeguet go onto the left. And, I mean, we never really created a big chance, as you'd say. At 2-1 down, you'd look for that one chance to get you back in the game. But it never really came. And, underwhelming performance, really.
I think touching on the momentum shifter of taking that, getting that goal early on in the second half, to me, that's where you're thinking there's no fans. Because I'm telling you now, if that went in with a full Villa Park, the momentum shifter would have pushed that team to another level. It would have pushed us a couple of yards further up that pitch. And like you say, it was disappointing to see us go back into our shell, allow Leicester to have a spell of around 15 minutes where they got all the ball. They were just at ease. It was comfortable. For me, the second half twisted when Jacob Ramsey came on, because I just thought it was so pleasing on the eye. He was popping it around. His movement was good. I thought for his little cameo, he played really well. And I think for a midfield that lacked a lot of energy, he sort of springed us into life, which was pleasing to see. Barkley again, quiet game, non-existent, offered nothing for me. I don't want to single him out because I thought there were some players that obviously didn't play very well today. But I'm just, in my head now, I'm just thinking, in Jack's absence, earn your move. I was saying to you guys in the group chat, earn your move, show us why we should pay the money, drag us over the line in another game or something. But I just didn't see it. And I think if we've got Jack out for a couple more weeks, we can't have any passengers in this team. Everybody has got to step up and put in a level of performance. And we can't have him playing like that week in, week out, because we need more. We can't just have passengers in our team. That's what I'm basically trying to say. We just can't. So I think there does need to be some changes in this lineup. Another thing that annoys me slightly is that we're asking El Ghazi to come back into the team, where he's a player that we've played him out of form. He was banging form around Christmas time, and we just took him out this team. He was playing the best he's ever played in the Premier League for us, and we've played him out of form. And now we want that El Ghazi back, and it's like it's not going to happen, is it? So, moving on to Leeds, obviously, they're going to be in our faces. They're going to be pressing us all over that football pitch. Again, like I said, we can't have a passenger. So, tweaking that lineup, what we're going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you've said. there's only, in terms of Barkley, you know, I'm a massive fan. I've always liked him, and I think he does, on his day, bring something special to us. But that day doesn't happen enough. I mean, there's so many times that I can sit here and make excuses for him. Oh, he's not fully fit card. You know, that's, its use is running out. There's so many excuses that I can make for him. He looked lazy today. You know, everything. He came here with the expectation, oh, I'm going to play myself into Gareth Southgate's plans. Gareth Southgate was at the game today. If he's watching him and he includes him in the Euro squad off of that performance, then I worry for England in the Euros. He was awful today. And we can't shy away from it because he didn't hit the standard that we'd expect from him, lone player or not. I hold everyone in this Villa team to the exact same standards, and he didn't hit that today. Yeah. Very few players did, but he was the one that looked disinterested almost. In terms of Leeds, Ellen Road's a difficult place to go. They've just had their new pitch fitted. I mean, players are still slipping about everywhere. It will take some getting used to. But also Leeds are a difficult team to play. Although, you know, the two fan bases have their differences, and I could sit here and slate them and say this, that and the other. No means about it. They came and they showed us up in the first game of the season, and we can't let that happen again. They're a good outfit from top to bottom. I think their keeper's a bit dodgy, so if we could have shots at him, who knows what could happen. I mean, one went in off the back of his head, as unlucky as it was the other day. We need that bit of luck to play us back into form. We've had quite a few games now where we haven't hit the standards, so I think if Smith could make changes, like you said, Ramsey, I've watched a lot of Ramsey in the last few years, and I've talked about him a lot on various different channels. He's a player that really, really excites me, and Smith puts a lot of faith and trust in him. So I'd like to see that faith renewed and put him back into the starting lineup. Maybe even Sanson as well for McGinn or Douglas. Just give one of those a well-needed break. Sanson will be able to sit there and break up the play from the Leeds midfielders, particularly Rafinha, who's a very, very good player. If we go there and we match their energy levels, then I have no doubt that we can get a result. But if we play like we did today, we could be in big, big trouble.
Yeah, it would worry me if we have a spell early on in that game where we are not bang at it, because they'll just override us and they'll just steamroll us for 10, 15 minutes. And if that happens, then I'd be very worried. But, you know, we'll touch on that when we do our Leeds preview on Tuesday as well. So thanks for coming on, Seb.
No problems. Stay safe up the Villa.
Captain K back on, a disappointing one. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a game of two halves, as the cliche says. First half, just non-existent. Looked like we were out of steam. We looked like we played the midweek Europa League game in the Czech Republic. Not them, you know. The way they were cutting through the middle, this game was screaming out for my boy Marvelous Nakamba. You know, it was just too easy for them to come through. We kept giving away possession. I know that, you know, it was unfortunate that Jack wasn't playing, but that wasn't the reason why we conceded 2 goals in the way that we did. I know that we missed Matty Cash big time. Almo slightly off the pace. You know, you can't expect him to do what Matty Cash can do, but he should have been a bit more reactive for the Harvey Barnes goal, I think. But, you know, I'm nitpicking really. Overall, the team were pretty flat in that first half, which is a shame because we did go forward a few times and cut through them and got in their box. But that block that they did in the first half, you know, when Ollie Watkins did like a cheeky back heel. And yeah, it was just unfortunate really that we didn't get going until the second half. Now, obviously the second half, much better. Everyone was putting in more of a shift. McGinn got his foothold on the game a bit more, as did Dougie. And I think we just looked more up for it in the second half. You know, definitely a half-time team talk. They got a rollicking for sure from Dino. But I think that we can't just keep trying to step things up in the second half. We can't be a second half team. We have to be on the front foot from the beginning. We knew this game was going to be difficult, especially without Jack now as well. And we've known that since Friday evening. So I think that we really need to start thinking about this lineup, this starting 11. I mean, Ross Barkley is getting all the criticism more than most, and I think rightly so. He knows he hasn't been putting in the shift like we expect him to. I know that he hasn't had much training time. I know he's coming back from injuries. I know he's not 100% match fit, but this was his chance to step up and be that senior player with experience and lead the line, as it were, or lead the team, should I say. But he was just flat. He kept giving away possession, passing it side to side. You know, if he's not going to be the ball winner, and he's not going to make driving runs, and he's not going to be at the end of crosses to score goals, then what's he doing? Basically.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what's your view on that?
I'm with you, to be fair. Just disappointing with his game at the minute. I think, obviously, we've seen at Everton, a bit part Chelsea, you know, what a player he is. We've seen it, obviously, at Villa, how good he's played at times. You know, we're talking about the Liverpool game, the Arsenal game. Amazing, you know. So when you've seen that and you've seen the level that he can get to, and then you're now seeing performances, what he's putting in against, say, like Southampton, Brighton today, you're going to question his game. You've got every right to question the way that he's playing, because, you know, I thought before the game, I said to, you know, a lot of my mates that, you know, let's see what he's about now. Let's see him earn this move. And today he didn't put in that performance. And I just think when you've got one of our own, Jacob Ramsey, coming on for 15 minutes, who catches the eye immediately,
Absolutely.
you know,
absolutely.
That's who I want to see in the team at the minute.
Yeah, I think Barkley, he's definitely got the quality, right? I mean, look, I'm grateful for what he's done so far. He's won us 6 points on his own, right? You know, Leicester in the reverse fixture, the header against Southampton. He's definitely got that quality there, but he's just not effective for a full 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I think he needs to be put on the bench, brought on with 25 minutes to go, and see what he can do and really I'd rather have half an hour of Ross Barkley giving it his all than 65, 75 minutes half-hearted, pulling out of challenges or trying to do something flash in the centre circle and it's not pulling off. You know, there were times when he should have just played the ball forward and he was just trying to nutmeg one of their players and it rebounded off and didn't work out. And yeah, I think he needs to be rethought now. What's going to happen in terms of, you know, no one should be guaranteed a starting place in this team if they're not putting in the performances.
Exactly.
And you're right, Jacob Ramsey comes on with like 15 minutes to go and he's playing little sweet forward passes with the outside of his boot, looking natural. He looks hungry. He wants to play, right? And I think we shouldn't be afraid to drop players. Now, I don't know if there's something in his contract where he has to start if he's fit, or if he needs to be guaranteed X amount of minutes per game if he's fit. I don't know the rules of his loan spell, if there's anything like that. But at the same time, it can't be at the detriment to the team. No. It just can't. And I think, look, I don't want to make him the scapegoat. He's not the only player that didn't play well today. However, in the second half, McGinn stepped up. Bertrand stepped up big time. Ollie Watkins didn't stop running. Okay, Douglas Luiz done well. The back four and Emi Martinez, like everybody sort of stepped it up a gear in the second half, but Ross didn't. He was the only player that didn't. You know, I know Anwar didn't have his best of games, but he hasn't been playing properly. And at least he was part of the move that got us the equaliser, right? So I just don't think he should be guaranteed a start in the next game. We've got Leeds next game. That's going to be a higher tempo, higher energy game, right? They're going to be pressing us from the get-go. They're going to be pressing us like Leicester did in the first 20 minutes of this game. We couldn't get out of our own half. Marvellous has to start, in my opinion. And I don't know, depending on injuries, depending on if Jack's back or not, we don't know. But I do think we need to try and work Jacob Ramsey in there somewhere. And Sanson needs to come on earlier, I think. Yeah, that's my opinion. But I'm encouraged in the second half, though. The second half was good. The performance, the intensity, the energy levels. When you're 2-0 down, you're deflated, and we did show character to come back and really give it a go in that second half. And I'm proud of the boys for that second half performance. But we need to play like that from the get-go. And when we've done that, like we did against Liverpool, like we did against Arsenal the first time we played them, when we beat them 3-0, you know, when we play like that from the get-go, we can really hurt teams early on. And we can't be playing and starting this flat. We just can't. I know that we can't use Jack not playing as an excuse, and we really need to show the rest of the football world that we're not a one-man team. And I'm afraid at the moment we are a bit of a one-man team, right? You know, everyone puts in a shift where they can, but I do think that we need to step it up a gear now and work on that plan B without Jack if he's not going to play.
Cool, mate. Thank you. Thanks for coming on as always.
Thank you.
Speak a lot of sense. Thank you. So I'm delighted to say we've got Luke back on of avfc.fans74 on Instagram. Check him out. His page is, it's a really good page to follow. So definitely check him out. So what did you make of the game today, Luke?
Oh, not a great game, to be honest, today, Luke. I'm not going to lie. It was another bad day at the office, which I seem to say quite a lot when I come on the podcast in recent times. But I think last time out, I came on after the loss against Man United, and I'm coming back on today after a loss against a very good Leicester side, I must say. They are very good. And I'd actually quite like to see a team like Leicester, unconventional, to see them in the Champions League next season would not be a surprise to me, and it would be interesting to see what they can do. But a bad day at the office today, and we definitely missed our key men in Grealish and Cash. So it's awful that they're out for injury, and heard that Grealish is out for over a month. So it's going to be really hard with Grealish. We missed his creativity, his flair, his speed. With Cash, we missed his speed as well. But then also with Cash, which Elmo I don't think can do, is he can get forward, but then he can also track back and defend. Whereas Elmo, I think he can get forward, but he finds it quite hard to get back. I think we definitely missed those two today, because defensive sloppiness was at fault for both of the goals. I mean, we stood off completely from Barnes and Maddison, which allowed them to have space and come at us. And when you give Barnes and Maddison space, they're going to punish you. And that we saw that, because obviously they slotted it home quite easily as well, like with not much effort. And then I thought El Mohammadi, come back to him, he struggled against Barnes for his pace. And then I thought that conceding both those two goals just gave us a mountain to climb, and that's in the second half. And the goal back in the second half at the very start sort of gave us some sort of hope, I guess. But after that, it was just a bit flat, and then we turned it on too late. And yet again, with Dean Smith, he makes his key substitutions too late. You saw like Ramsey and Sanson coming on, and they looked like they were really bright, and they would make some really good passes, a lot better than Barkley, who was really poor. I thought McGinn looked better today, but in the end, he was just too tired, and we just left things too late, and we turned on our game too late.
I think you made some really good, valid points. For me, we all know how bad the first half was, but when we got back in it second half, I was a little bit like you. I'd like to have seen the changes a little bit sooner, because like you say, as soon as we got back in the game, it sort of gave Leicester the impetus in that second half again. And there was a spell for probably about 15 minutes where we were sort of just on the back foot after scoring. And I felt like maybe if we'd have added a little bit more energy in midfield, it could have maybe pushed us on a little bit further. I think when Ramsey came on, he had so many touches of the ball. He looked bright. He looked lively. His movement was good. It gave us that energy in midfield, which we all know we've lacked the energy in midfield. And I think he really impressed for the 15 minutes that he had today. So I think he should have more faith in him, really, and give him that start.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I really want to see Sanson next game. Whether we do, I don't know, because Dean's very stubborn with his players in the starting squad. He seems to have something in Barkley and want to get him in that England squad. But I just feel like Sanson could bring something different to the team. He just seems like he's had different experience in football to a lot of the players. He's played a lot of French football. I mean, we paid 15 million for him. So I'm thinking to myself, he's not a super sub. So he's got to be in that starting 11 because we need new and fresh ideas. I mean, he was playing Champions League football last season, or even a few months ago, I think. Or even just like in Marseille, who are a very good French side. And now he's sitting on the bench behind Barkley, who again today was poor. I feel really bad for him, but I think we could see his frustration. I mean, he took about 5 minutes to get from one side of the pitch to the other. He was walking around the pitch, taking his socks off, taking his shin pads off. So he was really moody when he came off, which is quite sad to see that someone's getting to that point where they're so frustrated with how they're playing and so frustrated with their fitness that like he's just not stepping up to it. And he again today missed his chance to step up and show us what he's made of and step into that number 10 role and show that Grealish isn't our only creative player. Because I thought before his injury, he looked like a second creative player that would play alongside Grealish and we'd be able to trust to have in the team to, if Grealish was ever to be injured before, just to push us on and get us those results. But since coming back from injury, I really think he's sort of been very quiet and he hasn't showed his quality, which is quite sad to see because he was having a really good purple patch before his injury, which is, yeah.
I mean, I think whenever a team's not playing well, you can't have any passengers in that side. But then I think when you've got your best player, your superstar is missing, you definitely can't have any passengers because everybody else needs to step up. And like you say, I just feel like today Barkley he just didn't step up for me. I'm just at the minute, I'm just not seeing enough from him to warrant being in that starting 11. So thanks for coming on and giving your thoughts, mate.
No worries. If everyone could give my page on Instagram a follow, Luke said at the start of the interview, that'd be brilliant. And thanks for having me on again, mate. Really enjoyed it. Up the Villa.
Cheers, up the Villa, mate.